Brian, and quick step floors, and for me, I'm going to go with Mark Cavendish. There we go. They come underneath the underpass. And we're nearly there, Brian, at the intermediate sprint. I think it'll be a roll through by those out front, with Maestri out front, and then it's going to be all hell breaking loose on this lump. Thank goodness.
Yeah, the GC teams are just fighting for position, keeping their GC contender well out of the way. Some of the sprinters teams have been engulfed now in the peloton. So Movistar, and you're quite right with the Cannondale, they've got opportunities with potentially Sepp van Mark, but I think it's more of keeping Iran out of trouble.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. Iran's got a chance of a podium place. If he can dial himself back into his old time trialling days, he seems to have lost that skill. He's just changed himself really into more of a classics man, away from the GC. Twice a runner-up at the Giro would remind you, so he certainly had that skill in the past, but we'll see whether he can re-find it tomorrow in the individual time trial. For now, let's deal with this intermediate sprint. It's our breakaway that will contest it, and it's Gastour of AG Tour Le Mondial that leads out front just for the time being. He's going to swap duties, I am sure, on the approach with Mirko Maestri, who's just coming up. And indeed is being offered by Marignoni a little bit of power here. Go on, have some of that. Just transfers a little bit to him as they hold on for this. And it'll be a joy for the Italians to at least have potentially taken that particular jersey. It'll be on the back of Mirko Maestri at the end of this race. Provided Sagan doesn't win, he's got a chance. Here we go. Little shimmy with 16.6 Ks remaining, and so it's heading towards our finish line. This is that 7.5 meter wide road, and a little bit too much street furniture, to be honest. Elevated, can't really quite understand it. They're car guides so that buses can get into their bus lanes, but on a downstroke of the pedal, they can cause an absolute nightmare. Here you go. So there's one of your turns, and why don't you have yourself another one? Sort of rolling through with 16.2 remaining. It is that is a bit more of a pinch than we thought, but still 7.5 meters as declared, Brian, as they come in. Nearly there.
That's why the GC contenders have come towards the front. They want to keep out of trouble. They want to have a good look at this, and yeah, the sprinters teams have been kind of mobbed out of it by the GC riders, but it does look as if the Italians have combined together today well, and they're going to fight out this final sprint of the race.
Go for it. Lots of encouragement coming through, and not least from Ballerini, who's taking the king of the mountains here. That's nice to see. And of course it is our friend Maestri who is going for this. Comes to the fore. Nobody's going to deny him, and all credit to him. So this is your finish line and the start of our circuit. Goodness me, I thought he dropped a chain then. I think, to be honest, he probably would have been pushed over by Marignoni. They take the bell to announce the lap, the one and the only. So they did the job. Everybody else trying to stay safe, and of course Movistar getting in position to look after the leader, Quintana. Surely she'll be crowned tomorrow. Rowan Dennis will give it a good go. Aïe or Allez, who knows. And this is the gap declared, counting at the bottom of your screen. I'm sure it will more or less match the 35 seconds that we have. So we're on our loop, Brian, and it's going to be busy.
Yeah, 15.2 kilometres, and Maestri taking the 5 points there, puts them 8 points in front of Peter Sagan. So Peter Sagan, if he wants to keep a hold of that red jersey, has to finish in the top 3, 12, 10 and 8 points. So if he gets third place, it'll be equal in points, but it'll go down to the best in the general classification, which is Peter Sagan.
There it is. Well, we'll see. Sagan with a chance of even taking it, especially on current form. There we are. One happy boy. Why not? Good to see him just breaking into a huge grin. 21 seconds only. It's going to be last man standing race, I think, for the sponsors as we go right now. Job well done all round. Good breakaway. Well, there it is. Mirko Maestri taking 5 points. Marignoni, who was, I think, would have pushed him across the line, even though he's of another team, also there. King of the Mountains has been taken by the man on your screen right now. That's David Ballerini. Wears the green on behalf of Quintana, but no more climbs tomorrow, and he leads that competition. Only 5 in the break, but the gap has now tumbled down, and it's all bar done. In fact, it's extended ever so slightly, getting up to the half-a-minute mark. But surely they're not going to get the jump on everyone today. Not with highly motivated sprinters teams with the last chance to get something out of this race. And in fact, it's Trek Segafredo who've come up to the fore, and this is for Jesper Stuyven. Although I'm just seeing if anyone else is going to help them out today. What about JJ Lobato for Team Lotto Jumbo? He's got Lars Boehmer's backup as well.
There's possibilities, yeah. We've not seen a lot from them, but I think they'll be concentrating and looking after Primož Roglic, who can time trial well and is up there in the general classification. So we'll have to wait and see. We're heading through town, and soon we'll be heading out of town and hitting that last climb of the race.
The UEA team, the Emirates team, Sacha Madora is moving up and into position. Another couple of turns to get us out of Civitanova Marche, and we'll head to the same name but with Alta, Civitanova Alta, and we're starting on that endeavour now. So what with 12.9 kilometres to go, they're on a little rise. This will dip down and then start to pick itself up as we go out of town. The road does become a little bit less of a highway as we start our proper ascent, and it does max at 8%, and here they are coming up again on one of those little troubling underpasses, as you can see. Simon Clark might be tempted to have a push-off, just dwelling on it, the Australian, within Team Cannondale Drapac Pro Cycling. So many options, but for now, first and primary is to stay safe. And so no surprise to see Movistar looking after the blue jersey of Quintana. They do this well, they keep him out of trouble.
Yeah, they rode well yesterday. At stages yesterday, Movistar were maybe lacking in some numbers, but they seem to get it right. We mentioned in a commentary that they had 8 riders in that front group, so they rode well, they rode strong, and I think you know, they kept Quintana out of trouble, although we saw Quintana towards the end starting to make some efforts himself, but he juiced up his team, and it was a strong performance by Movistar.
This is nasty, which is why the whistles are blasting, and in fact it didn't look overly well protected, to be honest, and this is going to cause some surprises, I think. Big split, but that's the problem there. Well, I'm sure the team radios were ablaze as well with warnings just to take it easy on the approach, but Sky up towards the fore, but Movistar right on the nose at the moment of the chase. They've got 26 seconds to make up, and they're looking after the blue jersey of Noah Quintana, who actually through that sequence got disengaged from his team, who are pacing out the front. Here he is in the blue jersey, just getting back in. There indeed is Simon Clark, just guiding Rigoberto Urán in the green to the front of Cannondale. Others making a nuisance of themselves. Jens de Busker is embedded, the big man, within Lotto Soudal. In fact, they've just fractured a little bit through that sequence. Just picking up the live data of Andre Amador, who's doing a little bit of pacing up front, and his power wattage just nudging over the 400 on this incline. 11.4 kilometres to go. So Brian, we're 2Ks before we have a little descent, and then we take on our climb.
Yes, and the breakaway still hanging out there by 30 seconds. Gasteur is there for AG2R. Ballerini, the king of the mountains, in the green jersey. He's got a teammate with him, Bonucci of Androni in the reds, and Marignoni is at the back in the orange, with Katusha having Kochechkov. Yeah, Kochechkov's looking around. I think Kochechkov's going to try and break, maybe leave them behind. He certainly did it on the last incline and put a bit of pace back into the breakaway, and I think he'll be tempted to go and do a similar thing. Trek Segafredo are looking lively today. Fabio Fellini along with Jesper Stuyven. Either of them may feature late on, keeping their options open. It's just under half a minute now with 10.8 kilometres to go. Well, they're mobbing the road at the moment, and there's no reach out to try and put out the fire of the breakaway just for the time being. And the longer this goes on, the more chance those who've got something left within the break. It's a tough ask. It's been a short day today.
168 kilometres, but nonetheless, shortest stage of this year's Tirreno Adriatico. But they'll still be feeling tired, having taken on a lot more of the wind than many of the riders within the pack. 10.5 remaining then, and so they're going to come by here, just reach a little plateau, and then there's a descent to this pesky sort of M-shaped profile that we've got. So it's a climb with a dip in the middle. Hope that explains it. Just trying to move up and through and take advantage, but there's a storm drain down the side there, and it could catch out the unwary. Well, they're locked together at the moment, Brian. Everyone keeping something back for what they hope will be a quick finish. The gap, though, has come down to 21 seconds. Yeah,
Alex Dowsett, the British rider, at the front of the peloton for Movistar. Dimension data, I've got Bernie Iso with Edvald Boasson Hagen looking after Mark Cavendish.
So, 4 remain. Kuchekov is here, and he picks it up right now. I thought for a moment he was just going to try and get the jump on everybody, but not so. Not yet, anyway. He might. They're just tipping into the little descent, which will give them a little bit of impetus, carrying some of that into the climb. Now, its average is 4.7%, but has a max of 8. The next peak actually has a max of 10 once they've taken the little dip within the middle of it. There's the 10 to go marker, and so suddenly they tip off. As you can see, the motorcycle just guiding them down this as we speak. It's a decent surface, and we've been blessed with some fantastic weather during this race, and it's part of what draws, I think, so many. I know that exceptions, blizzards notwithstanding, but we've not had them this year. Generally speaking, the weather tends to be good on the Tirreno. Spring very much feels like it's broken. Viviani and Gaviria being compared there for you, but in terms of power, not much speed though on this descent. Just picking up, as you can see. 19 seconds now, and already climbing are our breakaway boys. And here they are, just grinding into it now. It does max at 8%, but it's towards the beginning of the climb, and looking breathy. There's Kuchekov looking tired because they're keeping the pace in it. They've got to believe that if everyone starts looking at themselves or at the other teams, that maybe they've got something. Tom Dumoulin's out of the saddle. He'll be time trialing tomorrow, but he's working for Ramon Zinkeldam today. He had the top 10 on stage 3. Max Waldschild is the man, and here we go. And guess who? Vincenzo Nibali decides to, after all the press criticism of his efforts, he just can't help but at least put himself in the forefront of our minds at moments such as this.
Yeah, cheeky manoeuvre, and he knows that the sprinter teams are just trying to control things at the moment, and Bahrain Merida not getting too much from this race. Costa reaction now as the Luxembourg champion. Bob Jungels tries to go across this gap.
That's JJ Lobato, actually, who's also in trying to get up to this move in the yellow and black. Now he's a threat, and Edvald Boasson Hagen has been sent up by Team Dimension Data. Now on this sort of climb, Eddie Boss can kind of go long. We suggested to you that it may well be a springboard for somebody. Jungels is there, the Luxembourg champion as well, as you can see, with the pale blue, and just now on the back of Vincenzo Nibali. Now somebody was there from Nippo Vini Fantini. If it was Edward Michael Grosso, was it? I beg your pardon. 8.3 remaining, Brian.
Yeah, it was Canolo that went with Nibali trying again, and a lot of the sprinters just have to try and kind of stay in here, and that's why some of the riders like Jungels won't ride. He'll just sit there. It's in his best interest because he's thinking of Gaviria. He just has to watch that Nibali and anybody others don't go away, so it's a stalling tactic for some of these riders now.
Fabio Fellini, who's got a good turn of pace about him, is there. It was Canola, by the way, from for Nippo Vini Fantini, who was there as part of it. Yeah, Fellini is there, someone marking out duties. I think he's rolled around the outside as well. Fellini, I think, is going to go for a long one. Well, in fact, it is he that just drags a bit of action. 8 kilometres remaining. They're nearly there. Good move by Fellini, this.
Yeah, Catanio's gone with him, and we saw that yesterday Fellini went on the attack, but Bob Jungels just setting a steady tempo at the front of the peloton now.
7.8 remaining, and eating into this, and yeah, having a having a big old dig. Tom Bonan as well, also looking likely on a moment such as this. 7.7 kilometres to go. Fabio Fellini then is going to be a threat at a moment such as this. We said it could be a chance, an explosive point for somebody, and I wonder if he's going to ride by these guys or sit in. This is the descent into the centre of this climb, so they're going to be climbing again in a few moments' time. Cataneo is just having a look at him from Andrea Zylemek, but Trek Segafredo is very much here in the form of Fellini.
The danger now is Nicky Terpstra. Nicky Terpstra is coming up behind, and I think he might go straight over the top. So you get Fellini at the front here for Trek Segafredo, Cataneo, 2 riders from the original breakaway. In fact, 1 rider because the King of the Mountains now gone Ballerini. Gaston still there, but Nicky Terpstra flew across that gap on his own. He's just sitting behind at this moment. Is he going to go over the top? Or I think he will.
If he does, then Fellini will try and stay with him, and others are being tempted into this. Just trying to see, is it Bakelants who's going to dig into this one? It is. He's stretching his mark, and well, it's surely got to draw some others out here as well. I'm not sure if Micah might even go for it for Bora Hansgrohe on behalf of Peter Sagan, give him a foil. Nicky Terpstra's got a chance as they take on this next climb. And in fact, they're just reaching the peak, and it's Sagan himself who's going long. Well, we said that Bora had sent somebody up the road, and Peter Sagan is going to use it now. This is destruction time for the sprinters, and potentially Gaviria for quick-step floors. They'll have to put the fire out, and it's a blaze, I'm afraid, again for everybody, with Peter Sagan, who could be heading for another stage victory. So Terpstra's up there, and the chase is certainly on. Now, this is where we go onto the descent. It'll be a flat land, and you can see Sagan has gone into that familiar low-down position of his, and it's Fernando Gaviria who's sticking with his wheel. He trusts this as being a big move, and Terpstra responds, and he kicks off right now. Terrific stuff with 6 to go.
Yeah, Terpstra was the danger man, and a very, very strong rider, and decides to try and push out. And quick step with Trentin now coming to the front. They're trying to talk to each other. I don't think they know. They've not got any control at the moment, but Gaviria is trying to tell Trentin that Terpstra's in front.
Well, Fabio Fellini's trying to get on the back of Terpstra. Terpstra does not want him there. He has a trackies look up between his legs to see who's there. It's also the most aero way of taking some vision. And they're all starting to weave here, and Sagan is being lent on by a mob of quick-step riders, including Gaviria, one of the favourites for the day. Here comes Dimension Data trying to get Mark Cavendish back into a decent position for this finale that was always built to be a sprinter's day, but the strong men are coming to the fore. Good mix in Fabio Fellini. He could go quickly. They're on this sinuous descent before they get to the flatlands. It only straightens out. We only rejoin the highway with 3.5 kilometres to go, and of course Terpstra could time trial this, but there's some strong men behind him, not least Peter Sagan, who's shown great strength in depth almost in all surfaces. And here we go, hugging the highway, but about to come back to the road, flattening out in about 1,100 metres time. All hell's breaking loose.
Yeah, Terpstra's got Fellini with him, and obviously Terpstra will not want to come to the finish with this Trek Segafredo rider. No,
he will not. Fellini will mug him at the last if nobody else joins the fun. Is it Madola who's coming over to join? 4.4 to go. So Fellini is here. He's the danger for Terpstra. Terpstra's going to have to attack him at some point, and hope he can weave him backwards, essentially. Just try and cut what is an invisible tow rope between them. 4 then, with a big approach coming right now. Quick step on an approach to try and get Fernando Gaviria in a decent position. And indeed, Mark Cavendish's team still there. But it's all being led at the moment by Peter Sagan on the chase. And here we go, through and over the top with 3.8 kilometres to go. And it is, of course, the United Arab Emirates that have a big dig here. Now, they've got options with Sacha Madola and Marco Kumpf, but I think the gap is starting to close. And once we get onto the... Oh, and he's down and just drifting to the side on the big turn. They'll all have to beware here. This is that where they go underneath the railway line and do so Well, you've got to be brave here. You've also got to have your wits about you, especially with the high, that high elevated centre. Not nice to see, but Fabio Fellini flicks out the elbow and says to Nicky Terpstra, come on, if you want to do something, then you're going to have to at least put in some work. It's starting to look more of a sprinter's finish, although Peter Sagan, I think, has been lent on, doesn't want to be anybody's fool here. 3.2 to go.
Yeah, it looks like Orica Scott only having the 3 riders in this stage today because of illness are in the front of the peloton looking after Meeskits.
Fellini's just stretching his legs. He's pushing on right now, and as you can see, the chase is on. It is Meeskits for Orica. Scott got Impey and Mitch Hepburn. Good for them that they've certainly put in the work rate today. And still, Trek Zagafredo, I think Jesper Stuyven may well be a good option in the red and white coming through. It's Jens de Vuskera and Chase Benut, I believe. He's got good backup as well. Jürgen Rollins likewise for Lotto Soudal. They've got plenty of options. There you can see as well is the blue jersey of our leader, Nairo Quintana, just staying safe, and others just bridging up right now. And I think this is Madola that's being brought in by Morec to have some fun. 2.2 to go. Now there's that slightly technical approach, as we mentioned, at the Flamme Rouge, where they'll take a left-hander almost at the Flamme Rouge and then a right-hander. It's wide enough for everyone still to have some ground to play with. And Katusha are coming back up, trying to guide Rick Zabel into proceedings here. 1.9. It's getting cagey, I'm afraid, and it looks like it may be just too dangerous for some of the major sprinters teams here.
Well, this is a catch-up time for a lot of the teams. You see Scott Thwaites just moving up in the left-hand side for Team Dimension Data. But this is there'll be a lot of riders looking behind, trying to get their sprinters in the best possible position now, because when we get into the technical corners, that's where it's if you're not there, then you can count it out. But it's Scott Thwaites there for Team Dimension Data towards the front.
Jens de Vuskera is dead centre of that group. He's got Chase Benut behind him guarding his wheel, and he's being led in by Jürgen Rollins at the moment. That's Lotto Soudal in the red. So positions 3, 4 and 5 as we speak. It's going to have to be solo for some, and there's a big dig coming up, and here comes Peter Sagan. And he's in very, very good company here, Peter Sagan. Jesper Stuyven is the wheel he's going on the back of at the moment. He's picked Stuyven as potentially a foil. Here's your last kilometre. So there's the left-hander, almost leading in a few moments' time to the last, the right-hander, and the road will open up. De Vuskera is in good form. He's in good company as well. Peter Sagan wearing the red jersey, and I don't think this is going to be Mark Cavendish's day today, I'm afraid. It's just too far back. There's some big gaps here. They make the big turn, and they're on the highway right now. They pick it up, and it's Lotto Soudal that's working for Jens de Vuskera, and he's got a terrific chance here of taking some big scalps as the battering ram works here for Team United Aeromet.
Yes, led out by Jürgen Rollins. De Buescher is there, Modulo's there, but so is the red jersey of Peter Sagan. Viviani a little bit further back now.
Viviani indeed just disengaged. Peter Sagan starting to wind this up. He wants another stage win. He's always greedy, and it starts to fan out. Going over to that side. The Vuskera's here, and Gaviria as well. Riding to the line. Is it going to be Peter Sagan at the end? No! Denied at the very last. Good work.
Yeah, good stage there. Good stage win by Gaviria. The young gun from Quick Step Floors. Sagan finishes second and takes that red jersey as well. He'll be happy enough with that. But yeah, a lot of respect there. But fairly messy in the end. De Buescher never had the legs, but Quick Step get their stage win here in Tirreno.
Peter Sagan keeps hold of the points jersey. I suppose job done, and in fact with 2 stage victories, finished second today, third on stage 2. It really looks like a race that more or less belonged to him, save for the overall classification, which of course goes to Quintana, provided he doesn't make any mistakes tomorrow when it comes to the individual time trial. Good win for Fernando Gaviria. Started off as favourite today, got the best train as well, and when it finally unwound, he also had the strength to ride what was a technical approach.
Yeah, it was tricky in the end, as we see the result.
Stuyven in third place. Good work for him from Trek Segafredo after Fabio Fellini had gone for a long one. De Vuskera faded to 5th behind Trentin of Quick Step Floors, who had helped, of course, Gaviria on the approach. Wow, what a day. It was a long one. If you've been with us since the beginning, then give yourself a pat on the back. Tomorrow it's the individual time trial to decide our winner. I think Quintana has got what it takes, time trialing wise, to hold off what will be a very determined group of talent behind him. Pino, of course, is 50 seconds down. Rowan Dennis, I think, might well finish second. His time trialing ability seemed to be undiminished, despite the fact he's lost some weight, Rowan Dennis. Roglic, Tom Dumoulin, Geraint Thomas and Rigoberto Urán. It's going to be fun to find out who gets the podium. Quintana kept nice and safe there, but all credit to Gaviria. And congratulations as well to the winner of the King of the Mountains jersey. Crosses the line right now. David Ballerini it is that's got that. Mirko Maestri had hoped to rip the points jersey off the back of Peter Sagan, but second place for him today means that he has secured that. Good to get Gaviria picking up a win today. Bravo indeed.
De Buescher is there, Trentin, Sagan, Gaviria, Stuyven, and a gap opens for Scott Thwaites. Scott Thwaites rode well here to finish. He's got Viviani behind him, but it was at this stage a battle between Gaviria and Sagan. Sagan maybe tired a little bit from yesterday, but Gaviria holds him off. Good win in the end, and yeah, the favourite of today's stage takes the win. When he was favourite the other day and was taken out by a crash within the last kilometre, so just wins by just under a wheel. Trentin celebrates, and De Buescher never had the legs in the end, but finishes a credible fifth.
Heads up look at it. The wind did start to blow, but you might think that that's actually the helicopter that was busy filming the approach above, so providing a backdraft, I guess you might say. Peter Sagan, quite remarkable, especially after yesterday, proving that a hard man can be a quick man.
He just can do it all, can't he? And never put his team on the front, thinking of the red jersey. Wanted to save all his energy for this. He's up against one of the fastest guys in the world, Gaviria, and great future ahead of him. You can just see Nippo Vini Fantini rider getting up there, that Grosso who was involved with the crash the other day. Nice ride, I'll say, by Scott Thwaites. He realised that Cav wasn't coming back.